Hi everyone, it's Caroline from Moralis, and today I'm going to do a quick run through of Web 2 to Web 3 for developers. So in order to understand the idea of Web 3, we have to look back to Web 1 and Web 2. So Web 1 was the first wave of internet in the 90s, think HTML, static web pages, no interactivity really. But then we move on to Web 2, and that's where we're at today, where we have social media, we have interactive content. However, the problem here is that most of the content that we create and share online goes through big, huge centralized websites which are owned by massive corporations such as Google, Amazon, and Facebook. And the thing is that they're making their money out of using our data, which leads to a lot of privacy and general ownership issues. And that's where Web 3 comes in, and the idea of Web 3 is that everyone can own what they create online. So for example, with NFTs, people are able to buy and sell the art that they create without any middleman at all, just the contract and the code in that contract. And with DAOs, people can be given ownership tokens, which allows voting rights within organizations, which therefore removes the need for a central governing system. So this is the idea of the decentralized web, Web 3. So alongside understanding the idea of Web 3, it's also super important to understand some blockchain basics. So this can be quite a daunting task as it does move so quickly, but if you make sure to understand the basics of cryptography, you research a few different blockchain platforms, and you take some frequently updated courses like those on Moralis Academy, you'll be really in a good place to start. It's constantly changing, so everyone needs to keep updated, but if you read a few articles every morning, you're in a very good place. Now, as a Web 2 developer, this will be music to your ears, as it's actually very, very easy to use your web development skills in Web 3. So firstly, the front end of decentralized applications are actually written in JavaScript, and they use frameworks such as React. So that's something which is directly transferable into Web 3. It's also very useful to learn some full stack development, as decentralized applications also have a front end and a back end. So learning a bit of that or having a revision of that will be very, very helpful for building decentralized applications. Another slight difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is the authentication. In Web 3, the authentication is generally done through the crypto wallets. The wallet doesn't just act as somewhere to store your cryptocurrency, it's actually used as a form of identification for every decentralized application. People generally log in through a system such as MetaMask, which is quite similar to OAuth for Web 2. However, Moralis makes it even easier. You don't necessarily need to learn super complicated ways to authenticate users, as with just one line of code, it is possible to authenticate your user into your application. As well as this, there's actually quite a lot of opportunity with UX UI for decentralized applications. These applications can be quite complicated and are not necessarily easy to use for the average person, so it's really essential to have good UX UI. So that's another great opportunity for Web 3. Believe it or not, it is actually possible to develop on the blockchain without learning any extra backend languages. The way to do this is to use Moralis as a managed backend, and then you only need to use JavaScript. However, if you do want to create a smart contract from scratch, you will have to learn either Solidity or Viper for Ethereum or Rust for Solana. Now, there are also other languages that can be used to build applications for the blockchain, such as C++ and Java, but I'm not going to go into all the details there. Again, even though you don't need to use Solidity, etc. for a backend, it is generally expected that you would know the basics of the language in order to be able to interact with the smart contracts from the front end of your application. So it's a good idea to kind of have a little look over those without necessarily deep diving into them. Now, a point which I think is super underrated, but I personally think is very important, is to join communities. There are so many different communities on Discord regarding blockchain, whether it's just to do with development or to do with other aspects. They're all super supportive. There's lots of project ideas there, tech ideas, etc. Moralis actually has a very good Discord channel, which I would highly recommend joining if you go to moralis.io/mage. That is how you can get your invitation to join the channel. As well as this, Twitter is a very, very good place for influential speakers on blockchain, communities, lots of different people from lots of different sectors there, and I think it's really important to follow these people to get a holistic overview of the sector while you're learning how to develop in Web 3. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in the Moralis Discord sometime soon. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Please like and subscribe. And also I'll leave some resources in the description so you can follow up on the things that I've mentioned in this video.